The hall was silent. Not empty silence, but the kind that pressed inward, dense and watchful, as though the vast space itself was listening. Jihye lowered the amulet slowly, its warmth settling back into a steady pulse against her chest. Light poured in through the towering windows, illuminating dust motes drifting hazily through the air. High above, the great eagle remained perched on its rafter, talons sunk deep into ancient wood. Its eyes never left her. The translator stood rigid near the center of the hall, hands shaking where they clutched at their temples. Blood seeped freely now from one nostril, tracing a dark line down their pale face. Their breathing was shallow and uneven, as if every breath had to be thought for. Then the thought came. Would you have us kill you? The words left the translator's mouth, but the voice was not theirs. It was layered, resonant, carrying a depth that scraped against the mind rather than the ears. Jihye felt it brush the edges of her thoughts, invasive and cold, like fingers testing the strength of bone. She stepped forward without hesitation. No, she said clearly. I would have you kill Arcanthus. The air shifted. Above them, the eagle's feathers rustled, a low, heavy sound like distant thunder. The pressure in the hall deepened as though something vast had leaned closer, examining her more clearly. The Lyrine did not answer at once. Instead, its attention turned to the others. So, the voice continued, detached and precise, you bring with you the Elf King's disappointment. Joaquin stiffened, his jaw tightened, but he did not look away. The gaze slid onward. A mage, it said next, whose magic was stolen. Raphael's posture remained composed, though something sharpened in his eyes. Then the attention settled on Estatrix. The pause was deliberate. And, the voice said slowly, disdain curling unmistakably through it. Worst of all, the translator's breath hitched. An aquarium sideshow. The sneer was unmistakable. Estatrix's scales flared brilliantly along his throat and hands, light rippling across them like fire beneath water. The air around him thickened with salt and pressure. For a heartbeat, Jihye felt the space strain, as if something vast and coiled were testing its restraints. Estatrix closed his eyes. He inhaled slowly, deeply. When he exhaled, the flare dimmed. The scales settled back into their subtle shimmer. His eyes opened again, violet and cold, fury leashed by sheer force of will. Jihye moved without thinking, stepping half a pace forward and placing herself subtly between him and the gaze above. She slid the amulet beneath her coat, pressing it flat against her chest. Arcanthus will destroy you too, she said, her voice steady despite the chill spreading through her veins. Maybe not first, but eventually. The presence above them withdrew slightly. The eagle shifted its weight, talons scraping against the rafter with a sound that echoed through the vast hall. This is true, the Lyrine admitted at last. When Arcanthus rises, all are doomed. Hope flickered dangerously in Jihye's chest. But, the Lyrine continued, if we help you, we may be doomed first. The logic was ancient, impersonal, merciless. That being said, it went on, almost idly, Arcanthus is fickle, possessive, vain. The eagle's head tilted, one vast eye narrowing. Perhaps, the Lyrine mused, he would punish us for killing his child. Jihye's breath caught sharply. The temperature in the hall seemed to drop. Then something went wrong. A flicker of light crossed the translator's face. Not the smooth, controlled illumination that accompanied the Lyrian speech, but something jagged and erratic, like a spark jumping a broken wire. The translator gasped, their body jerking as though seized by a sudden current. No, they whispered. No, no, no. The pressure in the hall surged violently, no longer measured, no longer restrained. The eagle above let out a sharp, furious screech, wings half spreading as the rafters groaned beneath the force. The translator cried out, collapsing to one knee. For a heartbeat, the layered voice fractured. Then the translator spoke again. This time it was their own voice. Run. The word tore free, raw and panicked. They lifted their head, eyes wild, blood now streaking freely down their face. Run, they sobbed. The Lyrines are not safe. The eagle screeched again, wings beating once, twice, the force of it sending a shockwave through the hall. Stone cracked, dust rained from above. A deal was made, the translator gasped, clutching their skull as if trying to keep it intact. Not to stop him, not to bind him. The pressure slammed back into the space, furious now, uncontrolled. Arcanthus is coming, the translator cried, and they are letting him. The eagle lunged along the rafter, talons gouging deep furrows into ancient wood. It did not change. It did not need to. Its sheer size filled the space, wings battering beams and walls alike as it surged forward, fury and panic bleeding through every moment. Raphael did not hesitate. Move, he snapped. They ran. Jihye turned and sprinted, Joaquin already hauling her forward as he tore back into the passageways. Estatrix followed close behind, his movements fluid and dangerous, power thrumming just beneath his skin. Behind them, the hall erupted. The eagle's wings slammed again and again into the rafters, splintering wood, tearing loose supports. Stone groaned under the strain as the great creature tried to pursue through a space never meant to contain its full wrath. Jihye did not look back. They raced through the mountain's corridors as the walls shook around them. The embedded lights flickered wildly, shadows leaping across stone. Dust poured from the ceiling in choking clouds. The sounds followed them. The screech of talons against stone. The thunder of wings battering enclosed space. The furious cry of something vast and cornered. Jihye stumbled as the floor lurched beneath her. Joaquin dragged her upright without breaking stride. Faster, he urged, breath ragged. They burst into open air at the mountainside, lungs burning. Below them, the city still glittered deceptively, water flowing through its channels as if nothing were wrong. Then the screams began. Not from the streets, from above. The wooden crown atop the spire shuddered violently as beams tore loose under the eagle's assault. Cracks raced down the stone like lightning etched into rock. Raphael skidded to the cable platform and seized the lever. On. Now. They piled onto the platform as another shockwave slammed through the mountain. The cable hummed dangerously as the car lurched into motion. Above them, the eagle remained within the spire, wings still battering, its fury trapped by architecture and distance, rather than the defeated. What did it mean? Jihye gasped into the rushing wind. A deal? Raphael's face was grim. I do not know. Estatrix gripped the railing hard enough to bend metal. His eyes burned faintly. But if the Lyrines have chosen appeasement over resistance, he said lowly, then they have already lost. The cable car slammed into the lower platform. They staggered off and ran as alarms began to sound throughout the city, panic finally rippling outward. As they fled towards the docks, Jihye dared one last glance back. The mountain still stood, but it was shaking, and beneath the chaos, threading through her thoughts like a cold, intimate whisper, the amulet flared warmly against her chest. Not with fear, with anticipation. The voice that had screamed run had bought them time. Not safety. Time.